My question to you is that in this journey of healing, you have a 100% recovery rate?
We have around 80%. And that's because 80% people tend to go into their past lives. Another 20,
They
they don't regress.
They don't
They just
regress.
don't go deep enough to regress.
So it's not spooky, and people will think, oh, this man is hypnotizing me and all that. Trust me, it's not like that, but I'll let you say it.
Yeah, there is nothing like hypnosis. It's guided meditation. We use non-hypnotic techniques. And in deep meditation, you will be able to connect to your own subconscious. The subconscious is the repository of all past life memories. So you will connect to the past life. So you might ask the next question as to there are thousands of past lives. So which one do we actually visit? So you always come with a particular problem. No one comes just for fun.
Correct.
Right? They come because they have something that's bothering them, something that they want to change in their lives, something that they want to heal in their lives. So when they come, they tell us that these are the things that I really want to work on. And then we make them to set the intention that, okay, this is what I really want answers for, and this is the healing that I'm expecting in the course of these sessions. So automatically your soul will go to the root causes of those issues, and it will revisit only those lifetimes which are connected to the problem at hand.
You know what he's saying is so true, because I remember, finding the problem and then dying in that life and then rising from that life, learning from that life, and then relating it to my current life problem and actually solving the issue. I can't tell you what the problem is because it's really personal, but I'm telling you, it's made me feel much lighter, and I know how to cope with a situation like that. And that has been one of my most fantastic learnings. How do you do that with relationships?
Relationships, the first thing I must tell you is that relationships are mirrors.
Oh,
Now, this is the difficult part for people to accept. Every relationship is trying to teach you something. Even though you may not like the experience of certain relationships, you might be feeling traumatized, you may be feeling pressurized, you may be developing a lot of hatred towards that person, anger, all kinds of limiting and negative emotions. But trust that every person is there to teach you something. And they are like the mirrors. There's something in you which you have not acknowledged, or something that you're denying. That quality would be reflected in the other person.
so if I'm angry with someone, if I feel someone is
You feel
bad,
not you are angry with someone, but let's say you feel this person is an angry person. It means there is anger within you which you have not acknowledged. Or you are denying. You might know that, yes, I'm angry, but you say that I'm okay, I'm dealing with it, I know it, but you're actually in denial of it.
So that means if I say that, say, X is an insecure person,
Yes.
that means I'm insecure.
Now, understand one thing. Does the insecurity of the person bother you and you get triggered by that? Then you have
If it doesn't bother me, then I'm not.
If it doesn't bother you at all, in the sense that you're perfectly fine with the person's insecurity, you may feel empathy for the person, but you don't get triggered and you don't go into judgment and say, why should this person be so insecure? What does this person not have that the person should feel insecure? Right? Then you're standing in judgment of that person. And if you're doing that, it means there is something inside you which is getting triggered at that point of time.
So let me be clear on this point, because it's a very important point for everybody. So if a person behaving in a certain way bothers you, then that's a mirror image of yourself.
Yes.
But if a person's bad behavior is not bothering you,
yes, you're not triggered by it.
You're not
standing in judgment of it, and you're not trying to forcibly change that person as well.
Correct. That is when you're empathizing with them,
yes,
and you don't have a problem, and that problem is not within you.
Yes.
There's a very fine line between that.
There's a fine line between that, and you need to develop that understanding of it. And once you know that, again, relationships are also lessons, because if you feel this person has this particular issue and then it's reflecting something which is hidden within you, it represents for you an unlearned lesson that you're carrying from the past again.
Correct.
So everything again boils down to what you're carrying as unlearned stuff, and you have to learn and release that stuff with understanding. And when that happens, then the relationship also gets healed.
Which body part carries the relationship stress?
No, there's no specific body part. Body parts, different body parts relate to different emotions. For instance, I can give you some very broad examples. Like grief is usually stored in the lungs.
Okay.
Like lack of confidence,
Stomach.
like that, you have different kinds of things. Lack of expression is throat. Obviously, we can relate to that more easily because throat is the expression center, creation center. It's the chakra which is related to the expression and creativity.
Thank you. I would like to end by saying something that, it is not everyone can regress and not everyone is as evolved to make peace with our conversation today. And I think that if you have some unanswered questions and if medical science is not able to cure your problems and if people aren't able to help your relationships, then definitely look at regression, believe in reincarnation, believe in connections, and in past life regression to heal your problems. It is also a great mechanism to deal with grief, especially of parted, especially when your loved ones have gone and left, and you feel that there are messages that are that you're waiting to give them or they are waiting to give you. So therefore, please take care of yourselves. We are going through some extremely tough times that can take an emotional toll on us. So he has actually banned me from doing more sessions till I meditate for 40 minutes for 40 days. But because I'm going through this tough time, he's going to be kind enough and give me a session, hopefully. But it's an amazing journey, and I've connected to different parts and I've explored it's like my soul has learned something new and I'm feeling really great about it. Please don't be spooked. Don't be scared of ghosts because nobody's going to do harm to you if you are not going to do harm to them. Am I right?
That's true.
So there are no ghosts, right? Bad ghosts.
There is nothing like that. Yeah.
There's nothing like that. So everyone just wants to do good.
Yes. There are what we call discarnate spirits, who are basically the spirits of people who have passed away, but they're not moved on into their dimension in which they're supposed to go to. So they're still hanging around in that limbo state, and they can be seen by people who are a little more sensitive. That's all.
So they don't harm you.
They don't harm anyone. No.
Okay, so all these ghost stories that you see are not true.
Yeah.
They just want to,
They are kind of confused people who are not able to move into the other dimension.
And how can we help them?
If you are able to contact someone or you have the ability, like some people have a greater ability to communicate with the discarnate souls, they can guide them and tell them that they have actually, some of them don't even know that they have died. So they'll just be hanging around thinking that they're still alive. Like if you saw the movie Sixth Sense, so in that the protagonist is a boy who can actually see dead persons, so he can see spirits. So there's a discarnate, and of course this is at the cost of giving away the thing. I'm probably acting like a spoiler, but it's a very old movie, and I think I can definitely spoil it. So eventually, he realizes that person is actually not a physical being, but a spirit, and that who believed that he's still not dead. He's continuing to move around everywhere as if he's still alive. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it does happen. That does happen. So a person can then guide. And there are some amazing books on this. It's called the Tibetan book of the dying and living, which is a wonderful book. Talks about these states and how you can guide the people. So these were all processes which were known by the ancients, and they would actually do all this as part of the rituals. So that would minimize the chances of any person who's dead getting stuck in this.
I completely agree, and hopefully one day you will teach me how to do this, because I think that's also a service, is to let souls go into the next.
But it has to be done with understanding. At present, of course, the way it's done is like a pure ritual, they really don't have the understanding about the whole process. Most of them don't have that.
But
So as a
someday,
pure ritual, it doesn't really help.
yeah, maybe that's my soul calling or life's purpose. But it was lovely chatting with you. I will get back to you more.
And
if
one
you-
more thing is
yes,
about
please.
regression work is purely about addressing the root cause. Because in life, the problems that we have this tendency which is trying to be symptomatic. We just look at the symptom and try to treat the symptom. And the same thing is happening even in medical science as well. They don't actually go to the root cause. But here the root cause is not even the cause as is apparent from the medical science point of view. It's something even much deeper than that. When it's something in your past life which is the root cause of what is happening right now, which is in your health issues, your emotions, and your mental state, and everything is determined by something from the past, then it's always a much more direct and powerful approach to go to the root cause. While I'm not saying that you should not resort to the medical system at all, it has its importance, it's very valuable, and it needs to be there always as a support system for us. But it's worth trying to go to the root cause, because you might be able to resolve it in a much easier and far more effective and powerful way.
And that you don't take to the next life. So
and then you don't carry it forward, and then it heals you at all levels. Because the medical system may just heal the physical ailment, but here it will heal your emotions, it heals your, because they are all interconnected. Nothing is independent of each other.
Correct, I completely agree. That's why I'm like chatting with you here.
Yeah, just to give an example, if you argue with somebody, then you just come out with a headache. So now you can easily understand that the headache is caused by the argument. It's not a physical problem at all. It's not that, and you take a tablet, you reduce the pain, but will you reduce the emotions that you got out of the argument, or the negativity that you built against the person which you are going to carry for days and years together?
No.
You can't heal that.
It's an immediate suppressant, but doesn't
Yes.
Help with the root cause.
So when we do regression work, we are healing stuff which is left unfinished since lifetimes. That's the part.
So that brings us to a very important lesson, is that if you see a repetitive pattern in your life, regression will help cure it.
Yes.
And because you'll get to the root cause, know what it is first, solve the problem, and then move on. And once you move on, there's no turning back.
Exactly. And in fact, that's the kind of people who have the courage to explore regression work, who have identified that this is a pattern and there is something more to it than what they can see.
I think that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.